Welcome back to my channel. We're going to be talking about all the books that I read in February. So I'm going to go over my stats first. I read a total of 10 books in February, which was actually insane. It's the most books I think I've read in a month probably ever. And the fact that it was only 28 days just shows me that I cannot be slacking on all my other months. Total pages read was 3,654, which is actually insane. So let's just jump straight into the books. I don't think I'm going to focus so much heavily on the ratings, but more so what I thought of each book and how they made me feel. I feel like ratings are very hard for me because I either enjoyed the book or I didn't. So let's just get straight into the reviews. We are starting off strong with Shark Heart. The premise of this book is actually very weird. It's about a couple who just gets engaged and the husband ends up having a rare condition where he is turning into a shark and eventually has to live in the ocean. This was such a unique take on a love story and on just a couple that faces adversity. I really felt for the main character and I just felt so bad for everything that she was going through, as well as the husband. You basically get to see how they decide to navigate this journey and what they're going through and eventually where they end up. I gave this book a 5-star because I feel like it gave me everything that I wanted. I remember finding myself wanting to know more about a certain character or wanting to know more about a specific thing that you learn about earlier on in the book. And I feel like the author delivered every single time. This is such a rare and different book that you don't necessarily hear about often. So I really enjoyed the concept. And one thing that I enjoyed as a part of my reading experience is that the chapters are so short that I feel like I finished this book in probably a day or so. So I really did enjoy it. It was such a different concept. So if you are definitely somebody who likes to branch out a little bit when it comes to fiction, this is a book that I could see you really enjoying. And I ultimately gave it a 5-star because I just had no notes for it. This is actually a part of another romance that was released by the same author. I really enjoyed Honey and Spice. It was actually a 5-star read for me. It was a book that I discovered randomly by going to a Reese's book club event, and I really did enjoy it. So I was excited to jump back into this world and get to see our characters a little bit older now. But I just honestly didn't enjoy this book at all. I pretty much just wanted to fly through it. I just felt like we lost a lot of the elements of the main characters that we really enjoyed. I remember the first book that, Kiki was very like outgoing and she really believed in herself and really believed in her vision. And we see her now as an adult, extremely insecure and unsure what she wants to do with her life, and ultimately just allowing her relationship with Kai, which if it's the love of your life, I completely get it, but really just kind of setting her back. And I felt like it was just not the same characters that I enjoyed reading about in the first book. So I ended up giving this like a 2.5 or a 3-star, but I really did not enjoy this book. And it was very long and I was just like, I want to get done with this book already. Another book that I unfortunately did not love this month, I went into this book thinking that I was going to want to pick up the whole interconnected series, especially I believe this is the first book that I've ever read by Kennedy Ryan. It is a second chance romance and I honestly did not enjoy it. I feel like from the beginning, I already knew everything that was going to happen, and there were some unpleasant characters in this book, like the daughter that really got on my nerves, especially considering like what the family went through and just how inconsiderate her daughter was. I understand that she's young, but she was just a little bit insufferable for me, and I basically felt like from the first page I knew everything that was going to happen. And while I understand it's a second chance romance and it's romance and there's not much to figure out as far as love story goes, I still feel like there were opportunities that could have made the reading a little bit more enticing and kind of allow the reader to be more interactive with the story. I felt like I could flip through the pages probably like 3 chapters later and it was talking about the same thing that we were talking about in the last 3 chapters. So I just feel like it kind of felt pointless at some point and I just didn't love it, and I will not be picking up the rest of the series. Now, if you watched my February wrap up, I was expecting to give this book a 1-star. I am not much for a romance reader, so I decided to give myself the challenge this February and try and read most of the romance books that I have on my shelf and just kind of lean into the whole love theme of February. This was a book that I've had for a while that I probably would have not picked up otherwise, but I ended up really loving this book. I felt like I was going into it assuming that it was going to be completely cheesy and very annoying and very boring and something that I can't relate to as a person from California who has no experience on a farm and knows nothing about a farm life or barely listens to country music. And I really did love the story. I thought the banter was so funny. I thought the relationship was so funny. I thought the way they explained their love for each other was really great. I liked how the relationship progressed. I love that there wasn't so much spice in this and it was really about the relationship. There is a miscommunication trope in here, which I feel like can always be done very, very badly. However, I feel like it wasn't bad here and it was actually a miscommunication trope that I can understand and see why they felt this way. So I really did love this book. I thought it was so fun and I am so glad that I picked it up. Another romance that I really enjoyed was Just Last Night. This actually took me for such a surprise. I ended up picking this book because I know that a lot of people on BookTok, specifically Haley Pham, recommend this book and really like this author. And I was randomly at Barnes & Noble looking for another fun book to add to my romances for February, and I stumbled upon this book. I ended up really enjoying it because from what I got from this cover is that two friends, something big happens just last night, and now everything's changed. And while yes, that is kind of the premise of the story, I feel like it was not exactly what I was expecting, and I ended up really enjoying it. A lot of this author's books are also on Kindle Unlimited, so anytime I can drop a physical book and pick up my Kindle is everything to me. So I ended up giving it a 5-star, and I'm really interested to pick up her other books. Another disappointing read for the month was The Things That We Leave Unfinished. So I will say I am a Rebecca Yarros stan. I love Fourth Wing. I loved Onyx Storm. I really do enjoy her writing. I've read a few of her other romance books. I can't remember all of them, so I'll just put them on the screen. And at first I was really loving this book when I picked it up. I really thought that it was kind of giving The Notebook in a way, but as I continued to read it and dive more into the story, it just kind of felt a little just not it for me. I don't know how else to put it. I feel like the romance just kind of went from not liking each other to suddenly like really being into each other. I feel like there was a twist in the story that was really unnecessary and didn't really do anything for me. So in general, I just didn't enjoy this book. I didn't think it was great. It was probably the lowest rated book that I read this month. I also picked up The Rose Bargain this month. I really did enjoy it. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed the story. It's not something new by any means. I feel like it continues the themes of a lot of stories that we see like this, but I did really enjoy it, and I enjoyed just reading about it and all the trials that happened and the girls and all of the secrets and all of that. It was just a really great, fun, easy read. Now, a little bit more into the fiction books that I picked up. So I did pick up this new release called Discipline. I really love the cover and I love the premise. It's essentially about a girl who writes a book about a relationship that she had with her professor way back when, and as she goes on her book tour, she receives an email from said professor and they end up reconnecting. He invites her over to his house, I believe by a lake, for a few weeks, and you get to kind of just see how the relationship ends up unfolding, and you get to see how the relationship with the professor really affected her. She was an artist at some point in her career, and after the relationship with the professor, she could never paint again. I think for me, I did really enjoy the concept, and I understand, I guess, the almost artistic elements of this book, which I think if you're really artsy, you will love this book. However, for me, I hate thinking about a very small moment in a person's life and letting that define them forever. And I understand that that's almost the point of the book. There's only 207 pages, so if like concept interests you, I would say definitely give it a read. Probably one of the most highlighted books that I read this month was Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy. This is definitely not an easy book to pick up. It is for a very mature audience and somebody who is not easily offended or affected by what they're reading, because this is seriously uncomfortable. If you know anything about Jeanette McCurdy, based off her memoir, based off of her, based off of any of the publicity that she's done, she is not afraid to make a person feel uncomfortable, which I think is almost the whole point of the story. It is basically about a 17-year-old girl who ends up falling in love with her teacher and ends up having a relationship with him. You get to see how the relationship unfolds, but what I enjoyed about this book, unlike others that are very similar, is that I feel like you really get to see the character as a mature person. She's able to call out a lot of manipulation that her teacher tries to do to her, and you also get to see just little call outs that she does for other people that are also in her life, like her mom, her best friend. There were so many descriptive things, so many scenes that we are basically walked into and not told, that I feel like is a testament to Jeanette's writing. I just wish that she talked about more positive topics so that more people could actually enjoy her book. I will pick up any book that she comes out with. We are wrapping it up with this book called The Shark House. This is actually a new release also from January. I will say I did not love this book. I felt like as I was reading it, not much was happening. I was probably like 150 pages in, and I felt like we were exactly where we were from the beginning. It's about a young girl who is a marine biologist and is completely obsessed with sharks, and she gets called in to kind of come to an island in Hawaii and figure out why these shark attacks are happening, especially because it's very rare for sharks to attack the same area more than once. And because she's such an expert, she comes in and tries to figure it out, and you get to meet just a group of different people that are also there helping her and that she runs into, and she kind of creates a sense of family and community. I honestly didn't really love this book. It just felt like the concept was amazing, but I really was interested in like, okay, what's actually happening with the sharks? Like, it felt like the draw was to figure out these shark attacks, but then almost like not explored enough in my opinion until the very end. So I did kind of drag my feet as I was reading it, and I didn't love it as much as I thought that I would. So those were all the books that I read in the month of February. Like I said, it was a very heavy reading month for me, which I just feel like I'm motivated to get through my physical TBR. And with the new month means new books, which I'm very excited about. out, I will be reading The Hail Mary Project in preparation for the movie coming out this month. I am also going to a book signing for Haley Pham and the Just Friends release, which I'm also really excited about. So please stay tuned for reading vlogs this month. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more book content. So I will see you guys in the next one.